It has been a hot minute since I did a podcast episode, and I'm really excited to do this one today. I want to talk about us being on a journey of life, on a journey of faith, on a journey of everything. Just like we have weather seasons, our life is full of seasons. And I feel like there is such a pressure by society for us to just do that one thing and just be that one person. And the first problem here is that we put our identity outside of who we really are. So just think about a child. You're talking to a child, and a lot of times people will ask a child what you want to be when you grow up. And the person asking this, it's usually going to an idea of a career. Oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a superhero, whatever that child will answer at that time. But the person asking the question is focused on the career. And as we become adults, we put our identity in our careers, in our assignments, but we try to put our identity on anything else besides the person that we really are. And that's why most of us find ourselves thinking about life because we are either not happy with how our life is going, or some of us are beyond that and we're just having a complete mental breakdown and we just need to push the reset button. Like, what if I turn this off and turn it on again? Let's see if that works, right? And it always starts because we put our identity outside of who we really are. And I feel like if we just give ourselves the grace of being our authentic selves, being who our creator made us to be, if we give ourselves the grace to do that, we're not only going to be so much happier, but that's the only way we're going to live the purpose that we are made for. And the thing about that is that when our identity is in ourselves and not in an external career or assignment or relationship, like I'm a mom or I'm a wife or I am um, a doctor, like I said, a career or anything. Like today, the identity is being just put on anything, like even the way people dress or whatever. I'm sure you can think about 10 different ways that people were putting their identities on today. So if we instead bring it back to ourselves and just know that we are human beings made in the image of God and created for dominion in this earth and not dominion on each other. Never. Nobody has the right or authority over another person, but we have authority over the earth. We have the responsibility to take care of the resources of the earth. And we as people, our identity is who God made us to be and not what we do. That's our assignment. And the thing about the assignment, it changes with the seasons and it will change. It will always change. My daughter came home yesterday from school and she was sad because one of her friends is moving away. And she's like, oh, she's moving away in December when we go to winter break. She's going to move away. And she's sad. And she's like, well, at kindergarten, I had to change classes and I lost friends. And then in first grade, I moved from Indiana to Florida. And now my best friend's moving away. And I was trying to explain to her that changes are just part of life. Life will never stay the same. And if you are stuck in Groundhog Day, you have a whole set of problems that we can talk about too. Okay, we can talk about it too. But even if you're stuck in Groundhog Day, you are holding into a life, but you can see that everybody around you is still changing. Like my daughter wasn't sick, but not sick, sorry. My daughter wasn't sad because of something that was happening with her. She was sad because her friend was moving away. So you may be stuck in Groundhog Day, but you can see the life around you is moving and changing. So once we understand that the difference between our identity and our assignments, we start accept life's seasons. We start accepting the seasons of life in a way that brings us joy, that actually let us be in the present moment. Let us leave that moment, be where our feet are, and enjoy that moment. And when we keep our identity in our assignment, we are never living in the present. We are always living in the future. We are always thinking about, or in the past, right? Because either you're thinking about the good old days, whether you're looking at when your kids were little and the toddler phase. A lot of the moms that I know love the toddler phase. And for me, it was very hard. And now I'm really enjoying this kind of uh, elementary school phase. It's really fun for me. But anyway, a lot of parents love the toddler phase and they're like, oh, when my kids were toddlers, they were the good old days. And I spend my whole day with them. Or if you have a business or a career and you're like, when I was in that job, I made pretty good money, or I had the best coworkers, and it was so much fun to go to work. So either you are stuck on your assignment in the past and looking at that as the glory days and your life now sucks, which that is what caused depression in the first place, okay? Living in the past. Or you're stuck in the future and you are just trying to achieve that goal, try to do something different. When I get a better job, when I finish college, when my kids grow up, when, and living in the future is what causes anxiety. So if you want to be in peace, you have to live in the present. And the only way for you to live in the present is to understand that your assignment and your identity are two different things, and accept your identity, that is what the creator gave it to you, that is who you are, your authentic self, that is not your assignment. So you're listening to this and you're probably like, okay, so what am I cannot say that I'm a mom. I cannot say that I am whatever job title you have. I cannot say that I am a wife. What am I? I am a human being. I am made in the image of God, and I'm put on this earth to live my life, to live the seasons of my life, to make this earth a better place with the talents that God gave me. I am put in this earth to increase the kingdom of God with my talents, with my gifts, to multiply, to make life better for my brothers and sisters with my talents. And I say that not in a way of self sacrificial, I cannot love myself, I have to love others. No, because by being the person that God made you to be, yes, sometimes will be hard, especially when you have to change your belief system. That's hard. Um, but it will come with joy because you're using those talents, you're using what God put already inside of you to make the life of others better. Okay. And that can be different things. Like you can be a very good baker and you can make delicious gluten free cake. And coming from a gluten-free person with a gluten-free daughter, I can tell you when there's a good gluten-free cake, we're happy. It makes us happy. It changes our lives in a way that we're really happy to eat this good gluten-free cake. Or you can be a person that you are very good at teaching phonics. And right now, one of my kids are struggling with phonics, and I need somebody that is very good at teaching phonics to sit with my child, and that will make our life better. So it doesn't matter what the talent that God put in you, it will improve the life of others if you just be that person that God made you to be. And the problem that we have is that we are so attached to the outcome because our identity is stuck with the outcome instead of who we are, right? That we don't allow ourselves to just be, to just enjoy the season. We wanted to go to the next step. We wanted to do the next thing because we're not happy where we are. So we want to look for happiness elsewhere outside us. But the thing is, God already gave us his spirit. It's already inside of us. So everything we need to be happy, to have joy, to have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control is already inside of us. The answer is inside of us. The problem is us, and the answer is us. That's great news, right? Because even though we are the problem, we are also the answer, so we can change. That's amazing news. So today, I just kind of want to come in here and tell you guys that I want you to think about what season of life you are in right now. What is your assignment for this season? And your assignment for this season may be I really need to be a mom right now, and I need to be with my kids and support them. Or your assignment for this season is I really need to work on my business. It's fourth quarter, and right now we make the most money, and I need to focus on this. Or I really need to be in my church and serve and connect with God, or whatever the season is for you, which is different for each one of us. I want you to stop and think, what season of life am I right now? That's a journal question, okay? Write it down, sit with a pen and a paper, light a candle, turn on some meditation music, write it down. What season of life you are. Second thing, how can I make this season more joyful? Like, how can I be in the present, fully present in this season right now with joy? And that looks different for each person as well. Um, we tend to want to use willpower to do things. And I have tried, and if you know me for longer than a couple years or a year, you know that I used to be a big hustler. I used to work 12 hours a day and be a big hustler and just want to make it happen. And the thing about willpower is that it has an expiration date. Willpower will be over as soon as you get sick, as soon as life throws you a curveball, as soon as earmuffs on the kids, shit happens. Because it will happen. Problems will come. Just like Juliet, your friend will move away. Things will happen. Last year, I went through the worst tragedy my family have ever went through. And that was way more than a curveball that shake all of our lives. And I can tell you through my life, there was many. This one was the worst of all and the most drastic, but there was many small and medium size examples of curveball, examples of changes that I did not want it to happen. and it happened. And today, when I look back in a lot of those things, not all of them, but a lot of them, I can see the goodness that comes after. Some of them I'm still waiting to see that goodness, but I know that God works all things good for us. So I know there's goodness in everything. Some of them, it just takes a long time for us to be able to see it. But I do not believe that we can hold the willpower for longer than a little bit of time. And for me, what happened is after years of this hustle and grind, because of a lot of mindset issues, wrong beliefs about my identity, believing that my identity was in my achievements, believing that my identity was on my assignment, believing that my identity wasn't anything besides inside of me, I fall into this hustle and grind. And then after years of that, I not only got physically sick, I got mentally sick. I had a terrible crisis of anxiety for, I would say, a couple of years. And I got physically sick. I tested positive for autoimmune disease, and I had to do a drastic change in my lifestyle. I had to change my diet. I had to change my exercise routine. I had to change my stress control. How do they call it? How the doctors call it? Stress management in my life. I have to put habits that manage the stress because the autoimmune disease was just being caused because of my anxiety. They were connected, right? And because of some physical habits too, because I am a big believer of we need to change completely, right? So just changing our mindset, but not changing our actions, it's not a big change. And changing actions, but not changing the mindsets, also not going to take you anywhere. It needs to be organic. You need to change your belief systems, your mindset, and then you also need to change your emotions and your actions. Our soul is our mind, our will, and our emotions. So if we want to transform our soul, we need to transform our mind, our emotions that are caused by our beliefs, and our will, the actions we take. Okay. So for example, I found out I had autoimmune disease, and I was dealing at the time with a lot of anxiety for a couple of years. And I found out I had autoimmune disease. So I went to therapy and I took care of the mental health. And I went to the doctor and got my blood work done and all that for my physical health, right? For the autoimmune disease. And it came out that I have a gluten allergy. So I had to become gluten free, where I found that a lot of people, they choose either or. Either they believe that they're going to change their mindset and they're just going to believe that something will happen, but they will not change their habits and everything will be beautiful. And like that's a lot of what we hear when you talk about superficial level of the law of attraction. People will say, "Oh, you just think and it happened." Well, you got change. You just think and it happened is not happening. I know a lot of people that believe that and their life is still the same. At the same time, I know a lot of people that believes the mindset work and working on your belief systems is woohoo, and they don't do any of that. And they think that just changing their physical actions will change their life. And they are doing the whole willpower thing and they're working out and they are just doing their diet and just going completely. I eat nothing but water sandwiches and ice. Water sandwiches and ice. And they're still with the physical problems and the mindset problem and the mental health problems. So we are not a one dimension being. We are a three-dimension being. We are mind, will, and emotions, which is our soul. And then we are spirit and we are body. So our healing process has to be three-dimensional as well. Okay. So I do not believe any longer in willpower. I haven't believed in willpower for a few years now, since my whole life blew up with my mental health and my physical health. And I learned a way to live life as a complete whole being that is who I am, a human being that is not perfect, never will be perfect, because we are humans and we just need to accept that that's how it is in this side of heaven. That's how it is in this earth that we are put to live. This time on earth is not just a test. It's not just a test where you have to struggle here for, let's say, 75 years, some more, some less, so you can make to heaven. This is a big mistake that I think people that study the Bible, people that believe the Bible, sit on. They think that life here is just like it's just a test to see if you're going to heaven or hell. The Bible doesn't really spend a lot of time talking about that. There is few times where, for example, where Jesus tell the other man on the other cross, "You're going to be with me in paradise," or in the Old Testament or New Testament when they mention few times being in another place. Um, but that's not what the meat and potatoes of the Bible is about. The meat and potatoes of the Bible is about heaven actually coming to earth. Jesus says, "My kingdom is here." Like that's what Jesus talked about the most. That's pretty much all he talked about in his time on earth, was the kingdom of heaven coming to earth. And he's like, the kingdom is here. The kingdom is here. And we are all waiting. "Oh, when I die, I'm going to go to heaven." And just like, the kingdom is here. You've been put here to live this life. So you are listening to this today. I want you to know you've been put here to live this life. And you've been given all you need to have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self control. But the problem is, as we are in this broken world, as we are in this imperfect world that has so much beauty in one side and so much sadness and tragedy and destruction in the other side, we find ourselves kind of in this pendulum swing of, right, this is good, this is bad. And we have to remember that even though it's not perfect, we are a complete being and we have the connection with our creator to be in his kingdom right now, even though it's not all the time, even though problems will happen. In this life, you will have troubles. In this life, your best friend will move away. In this life, things will happen. But it's not about those things not happening. It's about us understanding that those things happening is just a season and not a sentence. So I want to go back to it. Sit down, take the time to know what season are you right now, and take the time to think what are ways that you can be present in this season and make this season more joyful. Okay, so I hope this was of value for you today. I hope this will empower you to be present where you are, to understand your identity and who your creator made you to be, and not on your assignment. Your assignment is not your identity. Okay. I hope you love this. I want you to connect with me. So if you are not on Instagram, if you're on Instagram but you don't connect with me on Instagram, please go to my page, Fernanda J. Longo. I'll put the link in the show notes, and send me a DM. Let me know, what season are you in right now? Let's chat. Let's make the best of this season so far. Your best days are ahead, they're not behind, okay? But you got to live in the present, because God is not in the past and God is not in the future. God is the God of right now. God is the God of today. Okay? So I love you guys. If you know somebody that would benefit from this episode, please send it to them. That's how people connect with those episodes. Okay. So please send it to them, and I hope that will make their day as well. Love you guys. Have a great day.